Hello and welcome to Scratching the Gaming Itch. Today I wanted to talk about Halo Infinite, right, which if you remember released the multiplayer mode in November 15th of 2021. So it's been a little over 4 years of Halo Infinite now. And this is one of the community-made maps and modes. Invasion, the map by Mr. Quats. Invasion was a mode created by the developers and the community hand in hand. And I wanted to talk about how that came to be. If you were someone who played Halo Infinite back in 2021, you were playing a very different game. Because when you played it, there was a huge lack of content in the game. Halo Infinite launched, marketed as a 10-year platform for Halo, right? A foundation that Halo Studios would be building on for years. But 4 years later, we've seen that the developers have announced that they're going to stop support for Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite, instead of primarily being shaped by the developers, has become a game that was carried, shaped, and expanded by the community itself. Today, some of the most played maps, modes, and even the experiences in Halo Infinite, they're all community created, right? This invasion mode being one of them. And that is okay, I think. So at the launch, Halo had great gameplay, a great foundation of a Halo game. To be honest, I think it was a pretty good modern Halo. I didn't have an issue with the sprint like other people. And I honestly still don't. Modern Halo has to be different from Classic in some ways. They can't survive off of staying the same. Sometimes with Classic Halo, I love playing it, but it can admittedly be less action than games nowadays, which is okay, but the modern Halo is fine. Right, Halo Infinite was a good take on the multiplayer, I believe. Now that being said, what they didn't have were map varieties. They didn't have the Forge mode at all. They didn't even have co-op in the campaign. And they were really slow at updates. And that was really bad for the game. Right? Halo Infinite at launch was a mess because of the lack of content. And the slow updates weren't very promising for this 10-year promise that they had going, or the marketing behind it. And honestly, that did come true, right? They had given up for their 10 years now. But what's been interesting is throughout that journey, in these 4 years, eventually we got Forge. And that was when content really started pumping out. The problem was, it wasn't from the developers. So this community game, Halo, it's been like this for actually a while, interestingly enough. Halo for the past 20 plus years survived really because of the custom games. You had Forge, and you had those player-made modes and those LAN nights, and let's be honest, Griffball and Infection weren't Bungie-developed modes, they were community inventions. So Halo has always been at its best when the community was involved. Right? The community is the creative backbone of Halo. The community, given the sandbox, is always what made Halo fun. And I found that here with this mode, and I find that here with the other modes in Halo Infinite as well, and the maps, that once you give it to the community and their job, then the game got really, really good. And the turning point for Halo Infinite was Forge finally arriving to the game. Better late than never, right? And they even have a bunch on their website about Forge, but Halo Infinite's Forge was one of the best and strongest Forges there ever has been in Halo's history. They have features like object scaling, incremental magnet snaps, and a massive memory budget to create huge maps. And for the first time, they have lighting systems that have a lot of depth, depth to them in physics-based rendering, dynamic shadows, and customizable reflection volumes. They even have their own canvases for you to work with. You can even design your own game modes, right? They finally introduced visual scripting systems to implement complex game logic and maps, guiding bot AI, or even creating all new modes on your own. Right, so that's by combing through a node graph element in a simple visual flowchart. Forgers can add conditions and triggers to players and objects, spawn new objects, and update global game state with granular control. And I saw that with this mode that I'm playing, Invasion. So it starts out very similar to Overwatch, where you are just escorting a payload. Once you get that payload to a destination, you have a bomb that you then have to get to a building, have it blow up to get to a flag, and take the flag back to your base to win the round. So there's these 3 different parts to the mode, and that was possible because of the node graph scripting that was given in Forge. They even gave us access to campaign AI and Spartan bots. They gave us access to audio, music, and voiceovers, which you can hear all over the place in this game mode. And they gave enhanced immersion experiences, right? Being able to create firefight modes, madcap minigames, or even sprawling campaign-style experiences. Maybe some of you have seen the Halo Infinite raid. They also gave an in-game radial menu, which you could see when I die, when I'm respawning. There's actually a radial menu to pick my own loadouts and to have different weapons and different abilities each time I spawn in. There's also custom input ability and messages and markers. Heck, we've even seen basically Star Wars Battlefront space fights in Halo Infinite because of the community. Right, so the players aren't just building arenas anymore. They were building entire games inside of Halo Infinite. And suddenly, the content drought that we were experiencing in Halo Infinite was over. Forge was a miracle. Forge had shown that the community is still what carries Halo Infinite. It's still what carries Halo as a whole. And honestly, these modes, these maps are some of the more fun parts of the game. And that to me is interesting because Halo Studios must have also seen that. Because suddenly in those community modes, we had classic maps being remade, new arena designs, infection modes before infection officially even returned. We had new mini games, we had some PvE style stuff, and we had a lot of social chaos modes that were a lot of fun, right? That were all being built quickly. And then that content started to enter the matchmaking. So this is the moment for me where Halo Infinite was shifting as a game that was created by developers to a game that was created just by its players. Being able to matchmake for this mode and for this map is just one of those things that shows me, hey, the community is now in charge. And there are a lot of maps and a lot of modes in the game that the community has made. A lot of old maps being brought back, and even some new maps that were created that were put into the official matchmaking playlist. So these modes, these creations, were no longer the side content. It was the core multiplayer content. And now, I would argue that the content given by the Forgers has been more popular than anything that Halo Studios made in the game. And it was all coming out faster than ever before. And now players trust community creators. They wanted variety and they were getting it, right? And ultimately they wanted passion over the polish that they were getting from Halo Studios. That Halo Studios was just taking too long. Halo really at this point doesn't even look like a live service game, and to be honest, it's not. It's something that's been made by the community, and it's fun to play with the community. So why did they succeed where the developers couldn't? I think the only reason for that is the community gets to build for fun. There's also a lot of them, right? So these creators, these content creators, they're all over the place. There's a ton of them. It's like having a whole hidden workforce, and not even a workforce that's paid, which is kind of crazy, right? So they build all of their modes for fun. They're building their maps for flow, and they get to experiment freely. They don't have to take any real risks because they may not even be known. So the creative risks that they take have really no impact on them. The only thing it can do is pop off and become a popular mode, and then they become known as one of the forgers out there. Meanwhile, the developers, they usually have to work under timelines. They have to justify their updates and balance how much they're paying to make it versus how much money they're going to get back, and maintain overall competitive integrity. So the difference is the forgers are asking themselves, is it going to be fun? And the developers are often asking themselves, is this going to perform? And that difference matters. So for now, the community tools that were given, that's become the driving factor for Halo. That's been where Halo is fun. Halo Infinite is a community platform. It's a sandbox that the community has been given to keep Halo alive. All the custom games are thriving in all locations. Even in this mode we have just here, the custom modes, the forgers, they're winning, right? They're thriving in this. We are playing their modes versus 343's modes or Halo Studios, whichever they want to call themselves now, right? So that has been fun. Right? This is like the old Halos. You can even literally basically play Halo 3 in Halo Infinite. The modes are there now. Right, so Halo Infinite actually became more like Halo once our community took over. You have options for legacy modes. You still have options for Infinite's modes as well. And even brand new modes that we've really not seen anything like before. And all of that is pretty great. My only real concern with this idea is I feel bad for these community creators, these forgers that are making these maps. But they're doing it for the love of the game rather than for money. And somehow that doesn't seem really fair to me. I think it's a genius play by the developers, don't get me wrong. If you can get work out of someone for free, then you should probably do it. Monetarily, that's an amazing decision. And for the forgers, it feels kind of bad. I'm not a forger myself, and I don't even want to be, but I would feel bad knowing that, okay, what you get for making this map or creating this mode that now everyone's playing and everyone loves is a good pat on the back and credits to you. That, to me, isn't necessarily fun, but at the same time, if the players just want that and they're willing to make it, I could see more games wanting to do this. More games saying, hey, why doesn't the community make the game modes and we just give them the tools to do it? Because it seems really smart to me. All of the maps we got, all of the modes we got, this is an easy way to pump content through just different creators making it for you. And I'm surprised that we don't see more of it. We have Battlefield's Portal mode, and I think that's kind of one of the closest things to it. And maybe we'll see more in the future. Halo Infinite, though, really is a great game because of the forgers. I'm grateful for all they do. I'm just curious if they are realizing that they're basically being developers. Halo Infinite is community driven now. And Halo Infinite wasn't the first. Bungie also had communities drive the game. So Halo Infinite overall didn't really succeed as a live service game. It, in fact, probably was one of the worst live service games that has ever been made. The developers were way too slow with the content, but as a community-driven game, I would say Halo Infinite really succeeded and became an amazing, fun experience for all of the players involved. All I see is a game that, over the time of its life in the 4 years, became a really good game. Now, that is only because of the community, right? And those videos we all watch together and enjoy are from the community. The custom games that we get to play with our friends, the community. Even this mode and other modes in the matchmaking are now from the community. And that's something that I think we should be proud of as gamers. Right? We made Halo good. We made Halo a fun experience. Maybe not some of us directly, like me, who doesn't necessarily like Forge, nor pretend to understand how to actually create a good map or mode, but we get to play on them, and honestly, Forgers need players to play their modes, to have fun with their modes, to experience their modes, and the players need the Forgers so that they have more content to play on. And I hope that Halo is taking notes, that Halo Studios is understanding what is fun here, what made Halo Infinite good and what made it bad, and what can they do in the next multiplayer Halo to make sure that it's a success. And honestly, I think that is just give it to the community right away. Halo's a community game. I'm not sure there's anything wrong with doing that, other than the fact that I do, again, kind of feel bad for the whole pay situation, and I'm not sure what you could or would do about that. I know developers probably would not be down to pay random people for making maps and modes for them. But for me, Halo Infinite was fun. Halo Infinite was a success in the last 4 years. And it really became a game that was a ton of fun to play and a lot to enjoy. So let me know what you think of Halo Infinite. If you played it early on and just kind of quit, or if you even play it today, and what you think of the content that's in it. Do you think the developers could have done more or should have done more? Or is it fine that the community took over the game? And I guess I want to know, what's your favorite mode? And are there other modes that you would have wanted to see in Halo Infinite that you haven't seen yet? For me, that would be kind of a hard thing to figure out, because I feel like there's so many modes in this game now and so many things you can choose from that I honestly can't think of anything I even want in the matchmaking anymore. Like I said, I've actually never played Invasion until this game, and this was actually just a really fun experience. The Invasion is such a long mode with interesting spawning mechanics that haven't been in Halo before, and just I loved how it switched from the payload to the bomb to the flag. And if you were noticing, like, we had a nail biter there on our round win where we had turned in our flag in the last second, and here we're just trying to defend the bomb from the enemy team so that they don't get it up into the base. It's a great mode to play, to enjoy, and to experience for the first time. I loved the music and how it kicked in on certain parts in this mode. It really helped to build the tension of the moments, and I just couldn't believe and was blown away that it was all made by the community, right? That the community had a big part in this mode. I actually think this is one of the more unique modes out there, and that it's really a shame that there's so much talent in the community for Halo, but the Halo community is more or less dead right now. That it's not incredibly strong. So hopefully in the future, the Halo community will really get to shine and show off more of these fun modes. They're great. Other shooters have a hard time making such interesting modes. And I would be interested if, as the community continues to take over some of the games that we have nowadays, can they make interesting modes in other games? Can they do it with the Battlefield Portal? Or is this something really that's just for Halo? That Halo made something so beautiful with this community sandbox and Forge the way it is that it just can't be replicated. Those are all things that I'm just interested in and thinking about when I play this game. Again, Halo Infinite is a great game. Halo 3, the multiplayer, was really what first got me into gaming hardcore. And before that was some Halo 2 and some Halo 1. Right, this is when video games clicked for me. And Halo 3, the community events, the community modes that were played, they were all so much fun and kept me around and kept me gaming today on all kinds of different games. And I've really enjoyed the experience and the ride. And Halo is one of those games that I want to stay around and to stay alive throughout all of my life. And I hope that Halo makes a comeback, that it's the best it's ever been, that its next multiplayer game is one for the books, that it's like Halo 3, Halo 3's level of excitement, right? That's what I hope. And hopefully when that happens, you'll all be there for the ride, that Halo can come back as its tyrant. And right now I know that Halo Studios is really trying to go back to the classic roots, but I think hopefully they'll know that the roots of Halo are the community itself and not just the classic gameplay. And with that, I hope to see you all in the next video, and have a wonderful day and night and morning, or whatever time it is for you, that you have a great time. And I'll see you next time. Bye.